Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to this video today. We are currently on the ground at London Southend Airport down in Essex. Bit of a different video today. We're not flying to somewhere. We are actually going to be flying this, yet again, another video in the RJ, I know. We're actually going to be flying this RJ85 today on some base training at Southend. So, what are we going to be looking at mainly in this video? Well, mainly it's just going to be one departure. We'll be operating a normal standard departure before then following a fixed ring, and we'll be following the fixed ring round just as a bit of a guidance for our base training here at Southend. So we'll have a standard departure, and then we'll have two touch and goes, and both these touch and goes will be performed manually. We'll be performing these manually. There'll be no assistance from any autopilot, but there will be the following assistance. We will have the ILS frequency for the runway tuned in, and we'll be using that as a nav aid only on the manual flying. And then we'll have one more full stop landing, so that's a total of two touch and goes, one full stop. The full stop will be performed by a full ILS approach here at Southend. Now, I know on base training you also get examined on taxiing the aircraft. You're also examined on manoeuvring around the entire airport, so make sure you're manoeuvring safely, so that obviously comes under the taxi bracket, and I know there's a few more things you get examined on, but we're mainly going to focus today on our departure, two touch and goes, manual touch and goes using the ILS as a nav aid, and our one full stop landing using the ILS. Now, you are going to be made aware that we're going to cut some of these touch and goes incredibly short. Basically a circuit, and it's going to be short. The ILS is going to obviously be an extended final because, well, it's going to be an ILS approach. So what we're going to do, we're going to get into the flight deck, we're going to start setting up, and I'm going to talk you through what we're actually going to be setting up the aircraft and how we're going to set it up for our base training today. So then, a very warm welcome to the flight deck. Right, first officer's side today, that's where we're doing our flying from. So overhead panel, first of all, we're going to start just doing the overhead flows really quickly. If you don't know how to fly this aircraft, I have done a tutorial on how to fly it. It just provides a very basic insight on how to fly this aircraft to the best of its capabilities and the abilities overall of the aircraft. So any questions, there is another video on how to perform a flight in this aircraft. So we're going to go straight up to avionics. They can come on as required and down to my right hand side here, and we'll align the IRSs, and we'll give that a second and they will align. So we will straight onto the VL, which is the ILS information will be displayed, and we're going to go to decrease the range, and we're going to go to FMC. We're going to clear that, we're going to go ident, ensure that's all in okay, which I know for a fact it is. It's Echo Golf Mike Charlie today to Echo Golf Mike Charlie. Flight number is Enzo 100T. And then we are departing from runway 23, and we are routing, and we're going to activate that, so we're going to execute it, and we are arriving at ILS 23 with a CI23 transition, no arrival input. Perfect, that's our route then. It's basically straight out and on to the ILS, but there's going to be a bit of a difference. We are flying today, reserves are the following: 0.3, and cruising altitude is, let's just say, 3,000 for the circuit. Transition altitude 6,000 feet here. Execute that, and we will go to the fixed page. Now this is what I am going to find very, very important for this. If we go to init reference, it will provide us with index. Yes, init reference, the ILS information, we need that real quickly, so let me just go fix. We're going to go radial 234 at 5 miles, and we'll go 234 at 9 miles. Brilliant. No, sorry, not 234, it'll be 054 at 9 miles. Brilliant, so that's drawn a green line basically where the ILS is. So I'll explain what we're going to do with the fixed page information in a little while. More easy to explain that when we're actually underway, leaving Southend here. So first of all, back up to the overhead panel, I'm going to start APU, and the APU gen can come on, sorry, in just a second. Wait for the APU power to come available. Left inner can come on. So we're just waiting now for the APU power to become available. Give the galley some power. I know there's no one in there, but we'll still give it some power anyway. And in the greens, EGT drops, APU power available, APU generator comes on, and we'll lose external power. Okay, so we'll come down to the menu here, it will close the main door, and we will lose the ground power, and we'll lose the wheel chocks. So that's basically it now. We're basically ready to actually sort of get going as such. In fact, we're ready to go. So what we're going to do, ensure the packs are off, ensure hydraulics are off, they are all off. All fuel pumps can come on, and as the final fuel pump comes on, the beacon lights can come on. And the ice protection comes on for start, and the anti-ice comes on for start as well. Leave the gens off for now. Start master on, select number 4, start the engine, and we'll wait for a rise in N2 between 15 to 20. There we go, we'll give it number 4 some fuel. And while we're starting the engines, we'll put ILS information in 111.15 my side, and 111.15 on the captain's side. In like so. We'll wait for the starter cutout before we put the ILS courses in. Starter cutout, start number 3. Same applies on the N2. So that is perfect. Give it some fuel. Course is 234, so we'll set that. Course is 234 as well on that side. Okay, that is perfect. Flight director on, and we'll quickly do our takeoff speeds while we start number 2. We'll do that in just a second, we'll hide that. Start number 2, and we'll do reduced out of here, 87.5, outside temperature is 5 degrees, V1 of 121 knots, 181 on the V2. Brilliant, or the throttle, oh no, not yet, sorry. Lose that now, the speeds are sorted. And that is fine, master 2 as the FO is flying, and we will now start engine number 1. So select number 1 and select engine start. Brilliant stuff. Now that's the engine number 1 starting, so we will remain APU on for the entirety of the circuits. We're going to leave the APU on, that's quite important to remember. The gens can now come on. Just wait for that starter cutout, and then we'll do the after start flows. There we go, so off and start master off. Engine pump 2 comes on, and engine pump 3 comes on, and then we'll follow that by the PTU. Fuel pumps are all on, ice protection, that can come... Sorry, ice protection can come off. APU air on, pack 1 and 2 on, and the engine air can also come on. All the air conditioning up there is on auto, that's fine. All the lights are as required, that is perfectos. Okay, so I believe we are now ready to go. Flap 18 for departure today. That's going to get set nicely, and we will release the parking brakes. Just get the trim in the green. And then we will start our taxi out to runway 23 here at London Southend. So after departure we're going to try to aim for 3,000 feet. So now, like I say, the first is touch and go, so we may struggle just a little bit regarding sort of... Sorry, 1 second. We may struggle getting 3,000 feet on the touch and goes, because like I say, we are going to cut these touch and goes quite short. Well, not so much short, but we're going to cut them rather tight. But like I say, the ILS, we will be performing that at a reasonable, about 10 to 8 mile final, so that's not all too bad. Taxi lights, they can come on now. We're not facing anything too dangerous, so I didn't want to sort of blind anyone in the hangar there. Okay, so we're going to taxi down to Alpha 1, and then we'll get going from there. There's no cabin crew to pre-note. We'll give it a quick ding in the cabin anyway. Okay. Everything seems to be okay as at the moment. Okay, put the TCAS on now. And we're just going to roll straight on, so all the throttle that can come on. Strobe light on. Landing lights can come on and the exit lights on. Ensure the strobe is on, which it is. So as you can tell, we're all sort of fully ready to go straight away. Not really much else to sort of worry about on the ground as such. So we could technically use the autopilot and the heading bug to fly the first few circuits. We will see how we go after departure. It's got to consider is 11 to 15 knot wind, so it's gusting as well, so we just have to be just a little bit careful there. Okay, so we are actually clear on the approach. So we're okay to sort of roll on. Okay, that is perfectos. So, got to get in that centre line now. We'll just come to a stop, and we will set 30%, 40% stable toga. And that's what happens when you move your throttle. My apologies, just ignore that. So we have speed alive, 80 knots. V1. Rotate. Looking to pitch up about 15 degrees. We've got that perfectly. Wait for the positive rate of climb. Get going up. Okay, we will select autopilot 1. We will go heading select straight round onto runway, or to about 250 for now. And then we can go level change. Bring that heading round to 310, and we'll speed to 15 knots, and we'll go speed check in just a second. Flaps up. In fact, we'll maintain 2000 to be honest. Flaps up. Now it's important to sort of bear in mind what the opposite runway heading is, which I know is about 054, I believe. So we'll bear that in mind. We'll level off at 2000 as well. Okay, so 050, we'll maintain that heading for now. And then you'll see what I mean by we'll disengage in a minute and we'll take full control. So we could do this all manual flying, but we are just going to use the autopilot for now. Okay, air reference 123 is our VREF. We'll bear that in mind. So keep an eye out for the airport, which is just over there. We'll start bringing that speed back now. 180 knots. Really got to sort of maintain a visual with where the aspect of where the airport is, because we will be using that to our advantage. Okay, first flap out, flap 18. Start the turn at 100 now. Start bringing that speed back to 160 knots. Flap 24. My aircraft, my throttle. So just try and bear in mind where it is. It's just over there. That's fine. We can start a turn in now, and we will, while we do that, recycle the heading to 230 just to get us ready for when we leave Southend again. Okay, get down. So at the moment we are too high. Flap 30. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm quite happy with that. Flap 33. Air brake out. Something we do need to look at is we're getting no ILS information on the display, so that is something that we will look at.
$1,000.
1,000 feet. Coming on to final now. We'll just get some wind data as well. So it's 12 knots at the moment on the cross, and we will just correct that as best we can, and we're starting to get the puppy lights. That's 500 feet. Two red, two white on the puppies now.
Approaching decision height. 300 minimums.
Continue. A little bit off track here, just a little bit, nothing that we can't correct. Yeah, try and get down nice and early.
100, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, we're down. Speed brake in. Flap 18.
80 knots. V1. Rotate.
Rotates. First touch and go under. Wait for the positive rate of climb.
Positive rate.
Gear up. Select nav 1. Oh, in just a second, sorry, we'll select autopilot 1. Autopilot 1, heading select, and thrust, vertical speed, to get us to 2,000 feet. And we will go flaps up. Perfect, okay. Start our right hand turn now. I want to try and see why our ILS information isn't getting displayed, because now it is, that's fine, now we're getting some ILS information. So 11 off 2,000 feet. We'll now bring it all the way around we best we can, looking for about 040 on the heading. So one more touch and go before we do a full stop. We'll bring that speed back to about 180 knots. Give us a little bit more time this time just to get ourselves settled. So there is the airport just there. Okay, so following that 5-mile ring, we should be okay. Now we've got some ILS information being showed on the upper display there. Excuse me, we've got ILS information. It'll give us a little bit more of an sort of assistance on that glide path sort of aid. So we'll just be able to sort of make sure that we've got it perfectly this time. We did touch down a little bit early as well on the runway. In the touchdown zones, so that's something else we do need to consider. Whereabouts we're touching down, but obviously when we're doing touch and goes, you need to try and get down nice and early because it's we're cutting it quite fine otherwise. Okay, speed check flaps, or flap 18, sorry, not 24, a bit too soon for 24. Lost the airport, that ain't great, is it? There it is. Okay, that's perfect. So we will now come around 130, my aircraft, to recycle 230 on the heading for our next approach. And I'll take the throttle and we'll have at that point. Oh, no we won't. Oh. We'll take 24 as well at this point, and we will start to climb because that's just how the aircraft's been trimmed. We need to retrim the aircraft a little. Don't want it over trimming. And here we go, a bit of a sharp turn to be had here. Hence why we idled the power. Get down. Flap 30. And flap 33. There's no ILS information on there because I've disengaged autopilot. It doesn't take an idiot to figure that out, but it took me a little while to figure it out. Okay, so flap 33 set and indicator flap 33, gears down, lock 3 green, and we'll have the air brake out. You'll hear that massive increase in power because obviously the aircraft needed it to needs it, which is the air brakes out. So this is going to be our last touch and go, and then we'll get a full stop landing ILS under our belt. So we'll bring the yoke back up now. There you go. So that's 1,100 feet. Keep that on that speed. And we do have the throttle. Is ours as well. This is just nearly pure crosswind now. Well, no, it actually says indicating on the display we've got 12 knots on the nose, so it shouldn't be all crosswind. There we go, we're correcting it quite nicely now. All whites on the puppies. That's fine, we'll bleed off the speed to bleed off the height. There we go, correcting that quite nicely now. 3 whites and 1 red, 500 feet. Oh, losing that speed there. Really got to bleed the power on now. Continue. There we go.
60, 50, 40, 30.
Using that speed to get that flare quite nicely. Oh, that wasn't too great. We've actually floated that one a little bit, but we'll get down still in the touchdown zone. There we go. Okay, the nose wheel down, so air brake in. Flap 18, air brake going in. Oh, we're leaving this one fine. We are leaving this one a bit close. One, rotate. Positive rate of climb, the gear is going up. And we'll go to auto throttle on, and we will have the autopilot command A on, and we'll have thrust and heading select. We'll actually fly out a few miles in this one, decrease that vertical speed as well. 1,000 to go. Speed to 15 or 220 knots will be fine, and we'll go flaps up. .325 on the heading now, stop that turn. And this last approach obviously going to be ILS, and it'll be our full stop landing. Okay. So at the moment we are okay. Just keeping an eye out for the airport. She's back there, as you can just roughly make it out. And we'll spin it in right. 050. And this time, like I said, we'll give ourselves a bit of a more sort of distance on our final approach. But we will obviously be using the autopilot on this approach. So there is the airport. So you can obviously sort of make out where that 9-mile ring is. So we'll use that and the green line. So the picture of the green line is a beam coming up from the ground, and we need to intercept that beam. And that beam will get us down and on the ground. So it's quite easily explained. So what we're going to do now is we'll climb to a further 3,000 feet. That should aid our ILS a little bit easier as well. Plus we've been a little bit kinder to the residents of the local area. Well, I say that as we put on more power to gain more, to maintain 220 knots. So that's 3,000 perfectly. Bring that speed back to about 200 knots from flap 18. Final approach speed, just to make sure it hasn't changed. 121 this time now. Front course 234, 111.35. Wind correction 5 knots apparently. We can, or the wind correction needs to be changed, so it's about 15 knot gusting. So I'll add about 131. We'll add about 10 knots onto that. Bearing in mind it is gusting, so we'll add, no, 15 knots gusting, 7.5 added on. So we'll actually add sort of 8 on. So it's about 130, 129 knots there to be added. One 2-0 on the heading. And we will now descend back down to 2,000 feet of quite a slow vertical speed. Thousands go. We're 160 knots now, and we've lost our DME apparently. Lost all our ILS information. Wasn't really expecting that. 11115, 1115. Okay. 200 to establish.
Radio
I want to try and hit
outbound.
Vorlock sort of now. It's not having Vorlock, is it? It's not wanting it. What's going on here then? Oh, wrong seats, my apologies. Now it might want Vorlock. No, it really doesn't want to be our localizer at all, does it? Okay. That's fine. We might have to do this manually if the ILS isn't going to want to do what it wants to do. Okay, that's fine. What's your red 2 right now anyway? Flap 24. No DME apparently. It hasn't picked up any ILS at Southend. It's fine, don't worry about the glide. We can recorrect that in just a second. It doesn't look like it wants the glide path either, but it's got both autopilots in. Oh, okay. Is it going to get it, do you reckon? So it's found the glide, but it isn't displaying any information. That's fine, okay. Get the gear down now. And we get all the flaps out. And we'll get the air brake out as well. Wait for the gear to come down. The gear is down, that's fine. And we'll get the air brake out. Bit of an offset anyway. I'll take control of the aircraft now, that's fine. Didn't really end up as well as planned really on the ILS there, did it? And now obviously we're actually going to lose the flight director now, and the throttle as well, so we've lost absolutely everything now. So another manual approach, quite far out though, it's a bit more of a different approach this one. For some reason the ILS didn't want to function, but I have no idea why. I might have pressed the disable button in the FMC by mistake. Okay then, so okay, 800 feet, 2 red 2 out on the puppies. Speed is bleeding off quite badly there. Get some power on. Hopefully we can get off at Charlie.
Approaching decision height. 300
Continue.
minimums.
Up the power. A bit of flare there. And we're down. There's the nose, and we do want to get off at Charlie, so we're going to hit the brakes quite hard. I think get off at Charlie is not a problem. Brilliant. Air brake can go in. Taxi lights on, exit lights can come off. Strobes off. Oh, that weren't great. Strobes coming off, and the flaps can come up. T-gas comes off as well. I hate when you lose the view and you sort of it loses my perspective of taxiing, because I'm not using rudder pedals. So brake temp at 100, that's fine. Just checking something, sorry. So we'll actually taxi to where we began our adventure. Okay, so we will now lose the taxi lights. Ignore the parking here, this is how they park at Southend. And that's allowed us enough big of a turn to pull it into round by the hangar, which is what we wanted, because I didn't want to sort of make that turn too tight. Well no, sorry, not that turn there, is it? It's the turn here I didn't want to make too tight. So we're back where it all began. Okay then, so touch the brakes. Perfect. Set the parking brake. Lose 4, lose 3, lose 2, lose 1. Gens can come off, the ice protection comes off, packs can come off. Leave APU air on actually, and the hydraulics off. And the required fuel pumps can come off, leaving the one fuel pump on because obviously we are running off of the APU. And the beacon lights can now come off as well. So there we go. That was another different, well, a bit of a different video to say the least. It was a bit of fun, a bit of enjoyment, something a bit different as well. I haven't sort of seen anyone do that sort of thing before. Like I say, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, please do let me know. If you've got any ideas that you want to sort of see get done, excuse me, please be sure to comment it below, and I will try my best to get it done for yourself. And that is APU gone and running off ground power. Lovely. Brilliant. So there we go. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. As I always say, please be sure to like and subscribe, and please be sure, obviously, to like and subscribe. And until the next video, thank you very much, and yet again, I hope you have enjoyed the RJ. So thank you very much, and bye bye.